want to go ahead and get out there, and if you want to support the show, there's all of our socials. Make sure you go ahead, like, share, follow, and subscribe. Extra content is always on our patreon.com/app_stupid_podcast1. Everybody on Twitch is app stupid all together, no spaces, all lowercase except the A. We in business. Now, Norman Lear just passed away, ripe age of 100, and I have to ask the question, was Norman Lear a thief? And did he steal all of his black content? And the answer is undeniably yes. Yes, he did steal that content. Now, let's go ahead and give you some, I'm gonna give you some reference points, and then you can form your own opinion. Also, shout out to Dara Starr Tucker. She had an interview with Eric Monte. It's up on her channel. Very good stuff. It's just cliff notes, but it's very in-depth interview and investigative journalism. Throw a like on her, subscribe to her podcast and what she's doing out here in the universe. I'm just having conversations. And the conversation today was Norman Lear a thief? And did he steal all of his black content? And undeniably, the answer is yes. Let's start with Sanford & Son. Sanford & Son was just a spinoff of a British show called Steptoe & Son. But Norman Lear was going to make the show about a white family who owns a junkyard. Eric Monte, that's the gentleman you see in the Coogee sweater, he was telling Norman Lear that if you're going to make a show about a junkyard, you might as well get a guy who owned a junkyard. And that guy is going to be Red Fox. Norman Lear, his response to Eric Monte at that time was, who? Again, how can you have an iconic show with an iconic comedian such as Red Fox and you don't even know who this guy is? Right. Was Norman Lear a thief? And did he steal all of his black content? The answer is undeniably yes. Now, Red Fox, let's just say Norman Lear didn't give any credit to Eric Monte for suggesting Red Fox. Fine, no harm, no foul. So when it comes to All in the Family, All in the Family is also a spinoff show of another show in Britain. And that show is called Till Death Us Do Part. And Norman Lear bought the rights to that show, and he gave them credit in the rolling credits at the end of All in the Family. But there was a character in All in the Family that they wanted a spinoff for, and they wanted that character to go on and have their own show. That was the Jeffersons. Now, how Eric Monte and Norman Lear came about was Mike Evans. That's the other gentleman in this photo. Mike Evans was the original Lionel from the Jeffersons. Mike Evans heard about Eric Monte and his scripts, and it was starting to gain some traction out in LA. He approached Monte about writing a script around a character he's developing, and he'll take it to Norman Lear and they'll split the money. Once Norman Lear had read the script, Norman Lear then sent for Eric Monte, and then that's how the story begins. So, he, in 1971, Eric Monte, was developing a show around a black family. That show was called The Jeffersons. Norman Lear resisted in 1971 to make The Jeffersons. Again, was Norman Lear a thief? And did he steal all of his black content? And the answer is yes. He stole the idea of the Jeffersons. He didn't develop any of the characters. He put his name on everything. And the lesson to be learned about Eric Monte's situation is always get creative rights, go and get scripts copywritten, go and get all of your rights done, because if given the chance, somebody's going to take advantage of you. And that's what Norman Lear was doing. Norman Lear was taking advantage of a lot of people. You can't have any explanation how a white guy from Connecticut would have his finger on the black community. It's impossible. It's impossible. Anyway, the Jeffersons were doing really good. Ratings are strong, and he gave in. Now, this was going on for 4 years. So he had an idea for another show. Was called Good Times. And Good Times would center around a black family in the Cabrini Green projects. Now, quick epilogue. Eric Monte is actually from Chicago. He is from Cabrini Green projects. So there's no way that Norman Lear knew about Cabrini Green. So automatically you can see the theft going on. They wanted Florida Evans to have a spinoff show. Florida Evans was she was a character on a show called Maude. And Esther Rowe played Florida Evans. And when Norman Lear came to her with the idea of Good Times, they wanted to perpetuate stereotypes. They wanted the single black female in the projects with kids doing anything that she had to do. It is on record, not only by Florida Evans, but also Thelma, the daughter in Good Times. That's Florida Evans saying, I want a husband. I was raised in a house with a mom and a dad and the family, a nuclear family. But this is the guy everybody said had his finger on Black America. And he was down to put in racist tropes and enforce negative stereotypes on black people through American airwaves. The cast resisted. The changes in the script were many. Eric Monte told them that this is racist and their idea of black comedy just wasn't right, wasn't cool. They fought like cats and dogs. But the first season of Good Times is actually the best season of Good Times. Eric Monte, in his own words, he says Norman Lear is a racist, a hypocrite, a thief, and a liar. And if you're going to prove somebody right, then look at the evidence that's out there. Norman Lear had, number one, Norman Lear gave Eric Monte credit for Good Times. But all of the other previous shows, he missed millions in residuals. He missed credits. He missed accreditation. So at the end of that year of Good Times, they decided to go ahead and demote Eric Monte because of his back and forth with the writers and him and Norman Lear arguing like cats and dogs. Then they promoted the white writers and demoted him. Eric Monte feeling that his worth is not being valued. He did what every black person do or does. We leave, we go for greener pastures, and we make a road for ourselves. That's fine. He went ahead and made Cooley High. Cooley High is one of those legendary films in black society. Amazing, amazing content. Also, look at the shows that Norman Lear had after Eric Monte stopped giving suggestions. What happened to Good Times after they fired John Amos? Because that's what they wanted to do in the first place, was fire John Amos, and then JJ was the man of the house and he was just doing whatever. Yeah, it wasn't that good, was it? Nah. See, the affinity that black people have for those shows and the black sentiment came from Eric Monte. They felt and they connected with characters that are around the universe, the black universe. That's a big thing. Norman Lear didn't have any idea what that universe was. He never was in touch with any of that. He was in touch with putting his name on everything, getting all of the rights and garnering all the respect. So when we asked that question, was Norman Lear a thief? And did he steal all of his black content? The answer is undeniably yes. Now, Cooley High was such a breakout hit. What happened was that it got back to ABC, and ABC, the president at that time, which was Michael Eisner, he reached out to Eric Monte and he wanted to go ahead and develop a show. Eric Monte agreed. That show would later become What's Happening. Now, here's the crazy part. His attorney, Bernie Weintraub, because seeing how everything happened at Norman Lear's company, Eric Monte, he didn't want that to happen to him. Eric Monte was like, hey, look, I need a production deal. I want to have full control and have production rights. So Michael Eisner was like, hey, look, you don't have enough credits to do that. You're brand new in the game. We'd have to put a company together up under you and, let you get it like that. Now, Michael Weintraub was his attorney. They formed something called Toy Productions. Now, check out how sinister this was. Saul Turtlebaum, Bernie Ornstein, and Bud Yorkin. Bud Yorkin was Norman Lear's partner. And that's what the toy stood for, the acronym TOY. It was it was all of these guys, Turtlebaum, Ornstein, and Yorkin. So in a roundabout way, Norman Lear found a way to put his name and everything on What's Happening and What's Happening Now. And then Eric Monte was trying to defend himself. He couldn't get a lawyer in that town. He couldn't get a lawyer in that town to take his case and to defend him. But the more dishonest thing that they all conspired to do, his lawyer even inked a deal and signed off on it without his knowledge. And so once he was offered a settlement, that's all it was in the first place. Take this settlement and you're gone. Take this settlement and you're gone. This is the man who stole all of that content. And he gave Eric Monte crumbs when he could have had millions. But this is a guy who y'all sit up here and y'all tell people he created all of these black shows. He didn't create anything. He stole it all. He put his name on everything. And when it came time to pay the black guy who actually was responsible, he barely paid him. This is Big Vern. It just got real. Holla at your boy.
Man down! Man down! Man down! Man down!